Today I'm going to be interviewing a handsome Romanian fellow who is one of those crazy ramen eaters online. So he eats a diet that consists of raw milk, raw eggs, raw meat, blah blah blah. Maybe some even more crazy stuff. If you want to find out more, why the hell did he want to start eating this diet and what happened to his body, or you just want to know more about what's going on in this crazy guy's mind as a raw meat eater, make sure to keep listening. As usual, your boy has prepared lots of brilliant questions. So welcome to my interview for the second time, Dragos.
Thank you for having me here again. It's nice speaking with you, having this conversation again after many months.
Great. So during our last conversation, you mentioned that you recently got a girlfriend. Let me just
Yeah,
start asking you about this. Something casual first. So,
okay.
do you mind sharing what do you like about her?
Yeah, so what I like about her is the fact that we have like the same values. She also like eating raw meat like me, and she also like wants a lot of kids. We also like love nature. That's basically I guess the main thing that connected with us, but that made us, connected. But also her looks like pretty much all of the things I would say.
Sounds great. Do you think you feel much happier now as a not single guy?
Yeah, I can say so. But now the thing is funny. I really think like we're gonna break up or something soon. Pretty much sure of that because there's some things going on. And just to like start this interview in a very very spicy way. So I kind of came here, and she's in college. Like she wants to finish college, like 3 years or so. That's how much she wants to stay. And the thing is, I'm not willing to stay here 3 years because I started making money online and I want to travel the world. I want to go and do side quests. So I'm not sure we're gonna see because she's also been like a bit emotionally distant lately. So we'll see what happens.
Interesting.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on a long distance relationship?
I mean, depends, because I don't know if I would be willing to do it necessarily, since like it's not like you don't see each other that often and stuff. I would prefer like something more tangible, to put it that way. But depends on circumstance.
Great. Yeah. So actually, right now I'm in a long distance relationship.
Hmm.
My girlfriend is in Australia, and I'm in Taiwan. And what I can say about this is that sometimes it can feel pretty frustrating because you miss her, but like there's nothing you can do about this. Like she's literally not around you. So yeah, I personally don't recommend this.
Yeah, of course. But like she lives
I
there,
mean,
or
if yeah, what I want to say is that if you don't want to have this kind of relationship because it's not really happy, I guess.
yeah, true. Although it's a bit also, I would say,
Okay.
exciting too at the same time, because yeah, you have like more challenges to overcome, or at least maybe also the first stage when you're talking and like you didn't meet yet, but you're like long distance. That's also like a bit exciting, I would say, more exciting than a regular, like that. Let's say girl that's in your area.
Mm-hmm. Sounds good. So maybe some of the listeners that are checking out this interview right now, they are single. Can you kind of talk shit to them?
So to give them
I mean,
advice,
this is like a no. This is like, can you kind of laugh at them? Just talk shit to them.
talk shit. Well, I'm not necessarily gonna do that, like talk shit, like don't disappoint, but like, yeah, I guess depends on what you want. If you like wanna, depends like on the reason. Because if you're single because you're not attractive and you can find a partner like that, then of course you gotta grind, you gotta level up, become more attractive, become more confident, more masculine to find a partner. But if you're single, maybe because you want to break or you choose to, well, that's fine, of course. In that case, nothing to judge. Or maybe you're waiting for the right person. That's what I can say here.
Nice. Okay, pretty cordial. Great.
Mm.
I don't know, but I guess this is like kind of like a culture here in Taiwan. Like sometimes people like to laugh at people, guys that are single,
Really?
in a funny way. Yeah. Like there's a word called like a single dog. Like we use this word to talk about like guys that are single
Hmm.
in a funny way.
I see. I
Yeah.
see. Interesting.
let's I think we can move on to the main part. Yeah, so I'm sure you used to be a normal guy who eats a normal diet before you start to eat your raw meat diet. So can you talk about what did your Romanian diet look like when you were still little?
Interesting question. So, pretty much, I grew up on a junk food based diets. I was eating just sugar. I was very addicted to sugar, and mostly eating cooked foods that my mom would make, like traditional foods or like regular foods, like that. Rice with chicken or whatever, pasta, foods like that. Basically, just regular foods. And at some point, oh, wait, whatever. Oh, yeah, at some point, I then decided to start a more balanced diet, so cutting out the junk food, but still like some foods like that, regular foods like rice, pasta, and so on. So that's how I was eating before, before even starting like eating, getting the
Mm-hmm.
concept of eating healthy, my Romanian diet.
Mm-hmm. How did you feel about eating meat when you were little?
Well, the thing is, I didn't enjoy meat that much because my taste buds were pretty much fucked up from eating a lot of sugar, and I just wanted to eat that, like foods that would stimulate me. So I didn't really like meat, but that was mostly because we were eating pork. I didn't like pork that much, like the fatty pork when I was younger. And interesting because now I like it a lot, like fatty meat. So it kind of changed.
Did people say eating fatty meat is bad for your health and eating lots of meat is bad for you?
Like if they said it to me, you mean?
Yeah, like did you have this kind of idea when you were growing up?
I mean, to be honest, not really. I wasn't like actively thinking about this. Just didn't like meat, and that was pretty much it. I didn't really care that much, about this
Mm-hmm.
stuff.
What about the society's awareness? Like, how do people think about meat? Do they think eating a lot of meat is bad, or like fatty meat is bad?
Well, yeah, of course, that's what they what they think about. That's what the government pushes. Oh, cholesterol is bad, saturated fat is bad. You shouldn't eat a lot of meat because you're gonna get heart disease, which is just bullshit. We all know it's bullshit because it has never been proven. And of course, how can it be bad to eat what you're made out of, like saturated fat? Humans are also just meant to like have an animal-based diet. We have a digestive system that's meant to digest foods, animal foods, and yeah, animal-based foods. And yeah, basically, it's just a bunch of BS.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good point. We are just also animal flesh. Okay, so how did you feel about vegetables when you were little?
But I mean, I didn't hate them necessarily. I can say I hated them. Just some vegetables. Like, I mean, growing up at first, I think I wasn't eating many vegetables. Only like in a mixed, let's say, other recipes like rice with vegetables like mixed up or something. Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily hate that. But afterwards, when I started eating like healthier or balanced diet, and I kind of knew that, oh, I had this idea, my vegetables are healthy. I need to eat vegetables, so I started eating like more broccoli and other plants like that alongside my meals. So yeah, at first it was like a bit neutral, I would say. I kind of didn't love them, but didn't hate them necessarily. And afterwards, I started eating more, and now I pretty much hate them. Vegetables are, I completely hate them.
Hmm. Okay, interesting. And did people tell you that if you don't eat vegetables, you will become constipated?
Yeah, I had that a lot of times because I'm making content for quite a while now, and I was making content in my Romanian accounts, even when I was back on a cooked carnivore diet. Because before eating a raw meat based diet, I was like a cooked carnivore, only eating meat, eggs, and butter cooked. And I was posting content about this diet. People were telling me, "Oh, you don't have fiber, you are shitting bricks and stuff like that," which was not like true at all. People were just assuming things, but they didn't know exactly how it works, so it's not true. But yeah, they were saying that a lot.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Oh, I
Oh,
also want to
okay.
add
I mean,
something
like
about this
when you
before.
were little, did
I wanted to add something about this before you go on. So, like about this thing with the fiber, the vegetables, it's not true because people often think, yeah, if you don't have fiber, you're gonna be constipated, but it's not true because actually, in reality, fiber can make you constipated. There are studies that show, like for example, some people are constipated, like clinical trials, and they remove fiber from their diets. They stop being constipated because fiber adds bulk to your stool and makes it like, yeah, bigger like that. Adds bulk. And Another thing would be like on if you're, let's say, not eating plants at all, like no fruits, no nothing, and you're on like carnivore diet like that. If you don't eat fiber, then you're gonna be like constipated if you eat too much protein. That's true. It can happen if you don't balance it out with the amount of fat that you're eating. If you don't have your fat to protein ratio good, like you gotta also eat a lot of fat because fat is lubricating, so you won't have issues with that. With constipation. Only diarrhea you can have it at the beginning if you're eating a lot of fat, a lot of meat because your body is not used to it, and it can last like for a few days, weeks, but then it goes away. It's just a transitioning period. So that's what I wanted to add here about the bulk, the stool.
Sounds good. Yeah. When you were little, did you feel like eating vegetables was necessary? Like without them, horrible things will happen to you.
I mean, if I think right, I don't really, like I said, I didn't really care about that. Like I was eating just what I wanted. I didn't really care like about nutrition and
Mm-hmm.
should eat vegetables, I should not. My parents weren't telling me much either. Like they didn't educate
Mm-hmm.
me that much. When it comes to these things. So yeah, I guess I didn't really care that much about that stuff.
Interesting. Interesting. Yeah, because I guess for me personally, when I was like growing up, I just always had this idea that vegetables were necessary. So I would like always force myself to eat them.
Hmm.
Yeah, growing up, I never liked vegetables. Yeah, but like sometimes I would literally even like gag, or
Oh damn.
I probably didn't vomit, but like I literally was just like my body was trying to say no to the food, but I would still like try to force
Uh huh.
myself. Yeah,
Damn, it's
just
crazy.
just because I wholeheartedly believe that I just need to eat them to be healthy. Yeah, this is
Yeah, that's
another
right.
thing when it comes to fruit, because when I was growing up, I just always had this idea that you need to eat vegetables and fruit, like both are essential. And when I was growing up, I always didn't like fruit. I just thought they looked scary. So so I rarely ate fruit. But because of because of what people say, I just always feel like, oh, I'm not eating fruit. I think it's bad for my health. I kind of have this extra depression, anxiety because of like people's belief, if you know what I mean.
Hmm. Interesting about fruit. I never heard somebody say that about fruit that they don't like it. It's scary. The first time I'm hearing it.
Oh, yeah, that's just a thing for me. Yeah, especially things like lychee. I don't know if you know what that is.
Yeah, I know, I know.
Something that looks like grapes. Okay. Did you like fruit growing up?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I liked fruit. I was eating it pretty regularly, but I was mostly eating sugar. But I didn't dislike it or anything.
Sounds good. Sounds good. So right now you eat a raw meat based diet. What do you think about your previous normal Romanian diet?
Well, of course, if I go back, I have a very bad opinion about it. Like, of course, it's not optimal at all. The bad Romanian diet is just gonna make you sick long term, make you low energy, low testosterone, make you look worse. Because I was bloated, I was having dark eye circles, I was skinny fat, lots of issues, and also, yeah, I guess that was mostly when I was growing up younger. So, yeah, of course, not optimal.
How do you feel about the fact that this is what people normally eat?
I feel like it's just very bad because we're getting unhealthier and unhealthier nowadays. Just more health problems are rising, and people are not educated about nutrition to make the right choices. Plus the fact that these foods are addicting, and it's also hard to give up on them. So definitely need some change. We need like more nutritional awareness, which I think, yeah, it's also becoming better and better now. Like more primal influences are arriving, like pushing this movement with raw meat. I mean, not this movement, this natural diet, with raw animal foods, and more and more people discover about this diet. I now met quite a lot of people in real life that eat this way, and it's really nice. I like how things are changing like that. And yeah, it's going well. I see, for some people at least.
Nice, nice. So, can you talk about why did you eventually want to go from your pretty normal diet to the diet you are eating now, a raw animal based diet?
Yeah, well, it wasn't from a normal diet to raw meat like that, overnight. It was from cooked animal based to raw animal based. and that was like the transition that I made. And the reason I made this change, so I was already like on 1 year on a cooked carnivore diet, and I was feeling good. Like I had energy, I was looking good, started looking better and better. Health issues were disappearing, and then I started hearing like about other people, just eating raw meat, like they leveled up from a cooked carnivore diet to a raw meat based diet, and I wanted to try it too, to see like how it is. Or eventually, like originally, I think I told this like also the story on the last interview when we spoke like months ago. There was like a girl that pretty much influenced me indirectly, I would say, to start this, because like she was a girl like on carnivore diet. I started speaking with her, and she said she tried like raw meat a couple of times, and she had a friend who was eating like this for 4 years, and that's when it kind of clicked to me, because I was speaking with her, and then she would tell me like, oh, why don't you try this raw meat thing too? And eventually I said, yeah, I'm gonna try it maybe after 1 year on the carnivore diet, and I ended up like starting after 11 months basically, because I just started craving raw meat out of sudden, like that. When before starting I just looked at the raw ground beef like that, it was red. I said, yeah, let me just try it. I want to eat it. I just craved randomly, and that's when it started. And now I'm here basically after 1 year eating raw meat.
Would it be fair to say your main reason was you were curious?
Yeah, I guess so. It was maybe curiosity to see, yeah, how it turns out, like what are the benefits and so, because I wasn't fully educated. Yeah, I knew, like I heard some things that eating raw may give like more energy, libido, and so on because of the nutrients, but yeah, just basically something vague. I wasn't like fully convinced. Oh, I need to eat raw meat. I was just curious to see if that's true. Like I should try it out.
Interesting. Yeah, so before I get into what happened to your body after you switched to a raw meat based diet from a cooked meat based diet, let me just talk about why did you want to go on a cooked carnivore diet first? Because that's
Okay,
also
okay.
like a very uncommon diet.
Yeah, okay. So let me clarify this too. With the carnivore diet, I was basically before, like I told you, I was on a balanced diet for like 2 years beforehand. After I started eating like healthier for the first time, and I still had some issues after 2 years. I was bloated. I had like severe digestive issues, gas constantly, acid reflux. I was dealing with also insulin resistance, which is a condition that's close to type 2 diabetes, because I was feeling like tired all the time. I was hungry very often and lots of issues, and also was kind of getting gaining weight. I mean, I was also dealing with some mood issues like depression, anxiety, and I was researching because I didn't know what was wrong with me. I was already like eating healthier, like than most people. I was sleeping well and so on, and I was feeling bad like that. I was also like working out pretty often, and then I went first into a keto diet. Like for 1 month, I discovered this keto diet. Like no carbohydrates, cutting out the carbohydrates and replacing them with the fats for energy. I gave it a shot for 1 month, and afterwards, I discovered the carnivore diet too, and I decided, okay, it is like the next level. Okay, I should try also maybe this carnivore diet. I had some limiting belief at first, like how do you get your nutrients if you're eating just meat and eggs? Because I was calculating there, like the nutritional recommendations, saying like, oh, you need so many milligrams of calcium or whatever, and I say, wait, how does it work? Like, and then I just decided to try it out anyways, and it also like. It went pretty well. Like I started feeling even better, and I discovered this mostly from Dr. Anthony Shafee, the carnivore diet. That's how my journey started.
Nice. Can you talk about why did you even want to start eating more healthily in the first place when you were like still eating a normal Romanian diet to a slightly healthier diet?
Yeah, so that was because I basically, after I had like a breakup like years ago, I had a breakup with the girl, and then I just gained crazy motivation. I was also working out at the time. I was doing calisthenics, and I just got motivation to make more progress. I wanted to train harder, and also wanted, yeah, basically the motivation was to just eat healthier so I can make more progress. Like in building muscles. And have better performance with calisthenics. My workout, I mean bodybuilding mostly.
Nice, nice. I think this kind of experience is similar to a lot of people's experience. Like when they start getting into working out, they want to, let's say, become leaner or become more muscular. So they look into diet more.
Yeah, for sure, definitely. It's a good motivation, even though like it should be for health overall. It's still better.
If I want you to compare your, let's say, gym bro diet to your normal Romanian diet, what do you think are the differences?
So like that's in terms of how I feel or like the taste and everything. Like
Uh, I want to know what does the diet look like?
oh, okay, 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 I see. So like the regular like balanced diet, gym bro diet was, for example, I was eating oats in the morning, oats like with protein powder, with peanut butter, honey, stuff like that, or like Greek yogurt with some fruits, with some nuts, and then at lunch usually maybe some wraps with like chicken and lots of vegetables and stuff like that, and also rice with like chicken, vegetables. That was pretty much the meal. So like sometimes an omelette, like regular meals like that, that bodybuilders eat usually. They all most people know about them, and some maybe some protein packings here and there, and now on this current diet, on a raw animal based diet, I basically eat so raw meat. That would be like muscle meat, raw organs, raw eggs. I eat some also some raw honey here and there, some fruits, and drink raw milk. And yeah, that's pretty much it, I would say. Yeah, raw dairy, raw meat, raw organs, and raw eggs.
Nice. Okay, great. So actually, I was asking about your first stage diet compared to your gym bros diet. But I guess you don't need to
Oh, I
clarify
see, I see.
that now because you already talked about that. So it sounds like when you became like a gym bro, the diet became more whole food based. But
Yeah, exactly.
maybe it still didn't have a lot of meat and it was still pretty high in carbohydrates. Oh yeah, and like you said, you started to eat more vegetables. Okay, okay. What are your thoughts on a typical gym bros diet?
My thoughts are that, of course, it's not optimal juice the same thing as like a regular diet with junk food. Of course, it's better than that. Like it's the next level, but it's still you have many more levels to go. Like it's pretty far away from a natural. I mean, yeah, from a natural healthy diet. You can't call it healthy. You can just call it healthier than what most people eat. That's for sure. So it's still a step forward, even if you eat like that. But you're still gonna run into some issues because eat so many foods that are not compatible with your body, especially the plants mostly, and it's also the cooked meat and also lots of protein powders and other stuff like that they take supplements. So I see no point in that. You're not gonna get healthy long term like this.
Okay, great. I want to get more specific here so people can have a better understanding. So maybe let me try to describe a guy's gym bro diet. Yeah, I guess I can take myself for example. So previously I was trying to eat chicken breast, I was trying to eat rice, eat vegetables, and cut down on my junk food. Although I sometimes still eat junk food. Um, yeah, so for a gym bro that eats a diet that has lean meat, vegetables, rice, and some junk food here and there, what are your thoughts on this kind of diet?
So vegetables like junk food here and there, rice.
Just a typical gym bro solid diet, I guess.
Well, I mean, it's basically the same answer that I told her. Like, isn't it the same question basically? Because I told you my thoughts on it.
Can you like comment on the exact problem in terms of eating
Oh,
these
okay, okay.
foods?
So more specific like that. Okay, then let me go ahead. So the problem is, for example, first off, that you are consuming high carbohydrates. Like this diet is based on it's like high in carbohydrates, which in other words, is gonna cause a lot of glycation. If you don't know what glycation means, it's basically when sugar binds to your protein and fat, and that comes from consuming carbohydrates. Because carbohydrates are turned into sugar, and that will be like oats, fruits, honey, like potatoes, and also processed foods, of course, like processed sugar, and it is gonna speed up your aging. You're gonna age faster if you are glycating yourself, because AGEs like advanced glycation end products are linked to speed of aging. So you're gonna age yourself faster, because also when you eat carbohydrates, you have this hormone. You basically spike your like glycemia. Your glycemia goes up when you eat carbohydrates, and then you have this hormone insulin that basically is responsible to regulate your blood sugar. I mean, and if this goes over and over again, like basically when insulin is like a growth hormone, because insulin is responsible for storing fats, like an anabolic hormone. So growing means aging, of course. That's the one problem with this. And of course, yeah, for bodybuilding, I would understand that if you want to grow as much as possible, yeah, but you gotta understand that you are making this sacrifice when it comes to your longevity, if that's what you prioritize, being healthy and living longer. Another thing would be that most of them are consuming lots of plants, like vegetables, because they need to get their nutrients and so on, which is not true at all, because vegetables are actually lacking in nutrients, most of them, if you think about it, like the plants. Of course, they also need to defend themselves. They're also living beings, and they can't move, they can't to run, hide, or something like anything else like animals do. So of course they're gonna rely on defense chemicals, on poisons. That's how plants defend themselves. That's why if you eat like a random plant in the wild, you can get sick, can get like to hospital, or yeah, just feel bad in general. And same applies to every plant, literally, like even those that we consume. I would say fruits are the exception here because they don't have that many plant defense chemicals, but vegetables in nature are toxic. They're just the ones that we eat nowadays are not even natural. They're like hybridized by humans, and they're made like more edible, but they still have toxins. They still have toxins like oxalates, tannins, even like pesticides, insecticides. Not even those that are sprayed on them, like the modern ones. They just have it naturally though in them because they need to defend themselves. And yeah, basically they're just starvation food. They don't have nutrients because they also don't let you to access those nutrients. They have anti-nutrients. That's how they called. And yeah, basically also another problem would be that they usually cook the meat, and they also like reduce the nutrients because when you heat up the like yeah, when you cook the food, of course you destroy and denature it. That's scientifically proven. We have many studies that show that. You also make it harder to digest because you destroy the digestive enzymes. Although like I've seen some bodybuilders also drink raw eggs, which is good, of course. That's also something that they knew like back then they should do like to gain mass, which is true. Because also since drinking raw eggs and eating raw meat in general, I noticed that it's way easier to maintain muscle mass. Even if I'm training or not, I'm still just maintaining muscle. I'm literally yeah very big. Now I have my hoodie on. I have my pump cover, unfortunately, but yeah, that's something I had to say here, more specific.
Nice, nice. Yeah, that's pretty comprehensive. How do you think most gym bros are going to react to what you just said?
Well, they're probably gonna think, yeah, it's bullshit. It's yeah, it's not true. I'm just talking shit here. But the thing is, I'm talking here in experience, like pretty much almost 5 years of studying health, and I just tried all the diets. You gotta understand that I was in your position before. I went from a diet like this, balanced diet, to now a raw animal-based diet, and I'm not talking out of my ass here. I'm talking about my experience, personal experience, and also the experience of others because I'm a health coach, I'm a nutrition coach. Basically, I put like hundreds of people so far in the online space on this diet, raw animal-based diet. Whether it's my followers or my clients, I work with them. I know exactly what happens when you eat this way. I know that you're gonna feel way more energy, you're gonna look way better, you're gonna have the perfect digestion on this diet compared to all of the diets. This is like the best way. Everybody who's gonna try, compare a regular like a bodybuilder diet like that with a raw animal-based diet. If you're gonna try it for 3 months, just be open-minded, turn off your brain, and forget everything you learned so far. You're gonna see that it's basically true what we say here. We're not just larping and saying, "Oh, the raw meat" to try to make you sick, of course.
Dang it, our boy is an awesome salesman. I'm
Yeah.
sold. I'll go eat some
All
ramen
right.
now.
Perfect.
Let me see. Let me see. That's pretty convincing, I'll say. Although I already eat raw meat.
Okay.
You say, "Oh, I was in your position." Okay, let me see. Yeah, so you were having a lot of. What would you say was the main health issue you were struggling with that really like made you feel frustrated or um, annoyed or whatever that made you want to like research about keto and carnivore?
Yeah, so that was pretty much the main issue was insulin resistance because that would cause most of the issues that I had, and that would be like the fact that I was tired all the time. I had like no energy, or at least I had energy crashes like that. I also had mood issues because of that, and being hungry all the time, and also gaining weight. It was all tied to that because that's what happens. Those are the symptoms of having insulin resistance. Also, like yeah, that was pretty much the main issue I would say. That would cause like more sub
Okay,
issues.
so I'm right here. I'm asking more about like your own feeling. So, do you think it was your bad digestion or it was your like mood issue that made you really feel frustrated? Which
Mm,
symptom made you feel the most
probably
frustrated?
probably the energy I would say. And now to mention here, I'm quite like the opposite. I went from literally being tired all the time to now pretty much being the most energetic person that I know around me. So that's a pretty good progress that I made here.
Nice. Can you elaborate on this? Like, give us some examples to show that you are so energetic.
Yeah, so let me give you
Maybe you
like a
can
story.
compare that.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Did you hear myself? Yeah, I can hear you now.
Uh, I didn't hear the last part. You say some examples and
Okay, great. Yeah. I just want to know maybe in terms of like energy, how different are you compared to your past version?
Okay, so my past version when I was eating like a regular diet, balanced diet, basically after meals I would wake up tired in the morning pretty much, even though I slept 8 hours or so, like without an alarm. And then I would eat. I would pretty much like I had crashes of energy. Like I would eat and then I would get like a bit of energy, but then after 30 minutes it would go down and I would feel like lethargic. I was also going to school and I was feeling like tired pretty much all the time, like just yawning like that, and it was pretty bad. I was like also didn't feel the motivation to work out and stuff or do just physical activities in general. And yeah, it was pretty bad. I was feeling like pretty much tired all day, almost. Some days I would have energy, but mostly tired. And now, like to tell you like a story, what happened the first day that I started eating raw meat. Literally after the first meal, ate some ground beef, like 150 grams. And right after 30 minutes or like an hour, I gained so much energy. Like holy shit, I was feeling like on drugs, to put it that way. I was feeling like so euphoric. Also, just wanted. I felt like I could run 10 marathons then after eating literally that raw meat meal. It was so amazing. Also, like again, like such a libido boost. I was feeling like an animal literally, and yeah, like had lots of energy. I just was doing handstands like randomly in my room. I was just wanted to sprint. Like I don't know. It was like so nice. Like I was on cocaine. That's how I feel like most of the time. Sometimes, especially when I eat like some organs.
Hmm.
Or I just do like
Nice,
I'm like in a
nice.
very good
Well,
mood. I
that's
just
pretty
do like
interesting.
random, just like that. I'm fine. I'm like happy all the time. That's how it feels now.
That's great to hear. Do you have any like favorite organs?
Yeah, I would say liver. Liver is the my favorite because it tastes the best. Liver. Some people like
Nice.
would not expect this, but raw liver tastes better than cooked liver, and because raw liver is literally sweet. The taste, if it's from a good source, of course. I mentioned that if you get it from a good source, from a healthy animal, that's what matters. When you also like source your meat, get meat from a high quality source, so you don't get food poisoning because that's a real thing that can happen. But yeah, coming back to the liver, it tastes like pretty much like dark chocolate. That's how it's supposed to taste. I got like liver from a very good source once from a guy that had a farm, and literally tasted like that. And sometimes I also like I get it from another source, it will be sweet, but not necessarily like chocolate, but still sweet, like very very nice. So it tastes really good and also makes me feel very good after I eat it. I feel euphoric. I feel like lots of energy, like I'm god mode. That's how it feels. Like I'm, yeah, basically just like that, unstoppable.
Hmm.
And it also makes sense because liver is the most nutritious food on the planet. Liver has the most nutrients. That's why it makes you feel that good. Also makes you look better, and it's also tasty because it encourages you to eat it. That's why it's sweet. It's because it has glycogen mostly. That's the thing. That's why it's sweet. Because liver stores sugar, stores glycogen.
Hmm. Nice, nice. When you first came across a carnivore diet, you came across this idea that oh, you're just eating only meat and eggs. How did you feel about that?
Yeah, so like I said earlier, I mostly felt like I had like some limiting belief, like how is this gonna work? Because I'm not will I get my nutrients like from only eating meat and stuff. And later on, I discovered that actually meat is the most nutritious and it has like all of the nutrients, also including vitamin C if it's fresh and especially raw. Because when you cook it, also like destroy the vitamin C because it's heat sensitive. But yeah, later on, I've seen that I could eat it like, yeah, basically like that. I went on 1 year only meat and stuff, and I was feeling like better. My nutrients also increased. That's the thing. I also got blood work, and I was deficient in nutrients before when I was eating a normal diet with vegetables, like balanced diet. People say, oh, you should eat everything so you can get all the nutrients, but I was nutritionally deficient then. And when I started eating only meat, boom, my nutrients like went up. Now the calcium and magnesium, that's what I was deficient in.
Mm. When you first came across a carnivore diet, did you feel like it's dangerous, like you're eating so much meat, or you just feel like oh, it's not going to be nutrient dense enough? I want to know more about how you were feeling about it.
Yeah, I mean, not really about the dangerous side because I was already like on keto. I knew like about this stuff, fat. I wasn't against it, and it's mostly just about nutrients. That was pretty much it. And also maybe
Nice.
about the
Okay. Interesting.
sustainability, could be because I was maybe thinking, yeah, will I not get bored of eating just meat? And yeah, maybe that was also a factor in it.
Hmm. Interesting. So, since you mentioned sustainability, Did you feel like eating meat is bad for the planet previously?
Not really, because if you think about it, if you are on a carnivore diet like this, you're eating, let's say, 500 grams to 1 kilogram of beef. That's how much I would pretty much eat. That's, I guess, 1 or 2 cows per year or so. So it's not a lot compared to if you would be, let's say, a vegan. You would actually, if you think about it, you would destroy, you actually like kill more animals because of the plantation, of the harvesting. You would like destroy the habitat of many small animals like that. So per total, even though you can say that the bigger animals like are more important, because if they were like the smallest like animals on earth, like they will still like matter. Like, I mean, the ones that are small, like the small animals would be like the bigger animals on earth, like the biggest, they would still like pretty much be the same thing. So you can say that argument. So yeah, I would say like you are actually doing a favor for the planet if you're eating meat, because you also gotta take into consideration, like when you look in nature, like every animal's like eats like another species. That's how life works. You consume another life in order for you to survive. You can't go against that. Even like the vegan, like, I mean, the herbivorous animals like cows, they still like consume grass, and they get like bugs, maybe sometimes they eat it, so they're still like consuming other lives. You can't go against that. Like vegans think they can defy nature, they can just fool nature, but it doesn't work that way, and it's also, it's not a bad thing that you're killing the animals, you're like consuming the animals like that, because if nobody would eat themselves like that, carnivores would be in nature, the ecosystem would pretty much fail.
Yeah, so basically, I know that you were kind of saying that eating a meat based diet is good for the environment, but actually, I was asking about when you were little, how did you feel about eating meat versus like environmental impact? Because for me, when I was like growing up, I had the idea that I guess eating beef is bad for the planet. Did you have this kind of idea?
No, not really. Like I said, it's pretty much I didn't care about much stuff when I was younger. Like it's also the same with
Hmm.
the vegetables. So
Nice,
yeah, I wasn't really thinking about that stuff.
interesting. Okay, what about like other people in Romania? What do you think they think about the environmental impact of meat?
I mean, most people wouldn't really care that much. They would just eat meat with whatever they want. But maybe some people would think about that. Mostly, I guess, people that are vegan. But other than that, there's no many people that I hear oftentimes. Yeah, just let's not eat meat because of the environment. They're like Romanians. Oh, let's go make some barbecue, whatever. They don't care.
Uh huh. Uh huh. Okay. I'd say in Taiwan, most people are probably going to think eating plant based is better for the planet, although they are not necessarily going to do that, if you know what I
Mhm.
mean. Because it's one thing you have a belief, it's another thing you actually, your behavior aligns with your belief.
Yeah, true.
Okay, let me stray. Like, for example, maybe some people think eating a carnivore diet is healthy, but they just don't want to take action. It's kind of similar to that. Before you went on your raw meat diet, how did you feel about its potential danger?
So yeah, at the beginning I was a bit confused too, not gonna lie. I didn't know the truth about parasites and bacteria, and I actually had the fear when I was like also starting out. I had this fear, oh maybe I'm really gonna get sick, or who knows, like I'm gonna get parasites or stuff like that. And I had this like in the back of my mind a bit, but after a few weeks it faded. After I made more research and realized that actually bacteria, and the parasites are not as they portray them to be. They're just exaggerated, because like bacteria, first off, is not dangerous bacteria. It's natural. It's also, if you're gonna search up the role of bacteria, it basically, you know um, yeah, bacteria helps you detox, digest food, and so on. So of course you want bacteria. There's nothing wrong with that. Also, the studies that show bacteria and parasites that are harmful and so on, they never been proven. Like, they're just association, nothing like proven like cause and effect. And the thing is, only problem, like I said, it's with the source of the food. You can get food poisoning if you eat raw meat from a bad source, but that's because the animals are not like raised well. They're fed I mean, yeah, they're fed crap. They're just vaccinate and medicate. Those are the animals that are raised in factories, so they bring it to the supermarket. If you eat that meat raw, you're gonna get sick because you're gonna absorb the toxins because the animal is unhealthy if it lives that way, and you're gonna detox the poison. That's why you feel sick. So that's the only issues that I say, but not like people say, parasites and bacteria. Like I also had this fear when I, was starting out before even.
Hmm. I like this argument right here. I think it's pretty persuasive. Let me say this. How do you think people will react to what you said?
I mean, yeah, I kept it like a bit pretty like short like that. Vague. I have actually a video where I just debunk all of that. The parasites and bacteria. It's called like you've been lied to about bacteria and parasites. There, I just go deep. I show studies. I also just tell like the go like a bit in the past when people were actually eating raw meat back then, because we have many cultures that eat like this. So yeah, basically, some people would not believe it. Like a first thing, but they need like more evidence. Some people will also just be closed-minded, even though if you show them proof, they will still not believe this because they're just been indoctrinated. They had these beliefs in their minds for like years, and they just believe that blindly, but they don't actually test it out. Like I wanted to just test it out, like put it to the test. Whatever happened, even though it was true, I would at least know that okay, it's true how they say it. Yeah, you get sick from raw meat, but I tested out myself and I see it's not true. So rather than, I would say, like the answer here, if you're skeptical, just try it out, test it out yourself, and see what happens. That's the best way, because we can confirm, like, there's many people that eat like this, raw meat for years. You can say we are fake because some people even like swallow, like on camera. I did lives, eating like that, so you ain't gonna die. Like, come on now, you can just try a few bites and see what happens if you're skeptical. So
Hmm. Nice. Yeah, I don't exactly remember what I was thinking when I was about to try my raw meat for the first time. I think I tried raw chicken as
hmm.
my first
Oh, interesting.
type of raw meat because at that time I really want to source high quality animal food. And I wanted to source high quality local animal food because to me back then that's like the safest option. And it's hard to find like grass-fed beef that's like locally produced here in Taiwan. But it's pretty easy to find pasture-raised local chicken. Yeah, so I
Hmm.
decided to try raw chicken. One of the things that made me feel more courage was the fact that no animals eat cooked food. So I was like, how can humans be the only animal that uh, don't eat raw food? So that kind of gave me more courage.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Of course, it's kind of stupid if you think about it like the way. Why would humans not also be able to eat raw meat? Doesn't make sense, right? Because we can 100%. There are many people that
Mhm.
dismiss this myth so far. So
Nice. What was there any type of content that made you start to look at junk food differently? Because obviously, when you were growing up, you just thought it's delicious. It's not a big deal. Any content that made you change your perspectives?
interesting question, because it actually, if I'm thinking back, it was Hamza. If you know this guy, Hamza, self-improvement, Hamza Ahmed. I started like watching his videos like years ago, when I got like also into self-improvement. So that's when he was talking about like eating healthy, like junk food is bad. And of course, I already knew that junk food is bad. Everybody knows it, even though they eat it. But that's when it kind of like more pushed me to start eating like healthier. Okay, I've seen his video like eating junk food, you should stop or whatever, blah blah. And then I pretty much like went on a healthier diet. I started cutting out junk food so I can be healthier, make more progress.
Awesome. Nice, nice. That's an interesting answer. I guess Hamza has inspired a lot of people to eat better because I know a Taiwanese guy. He's kind of eating a carnivore diet now, and he told me he was inspired by Hamza.
Mm. Yeah, that's also like come back to the carnivore. That I also heard from him, like the carnivore. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You're back.
Okay. Yeah, come back. So I
Someone
also like
called you.
heard.
It looks like.
Yeah, I heard from Hamza like about the carnivore like the first time, but I didn't start it then. Then I heard from Anthony Sheffield. My mom is calling. Wait, let me just give her a message real quick, 'cause she's calling me. That's why I'm freezing.
Yeah, let me know when you are ready.
All right, again, I'm back. So yeah, let me just go back to restart. So yeah, I heard from Hamza the first time about like a carnivore diet. That's when he introduced me to it, but I didn't like start eating that way after I heard of it. Then I heard like from Anthony Shaffer. That's how it started. So coming back to the diet and stuff, I wanted to mention that.
Sounds great. Yeah, I think for me, when I started to eat less junk food was when I started to become more into working out. Because in gym bro culture, it's pretty, how do you say, agreed that junk food has a lot of calories, and if you want to be leaner, you want to eat less calories. So I guess that's my main motivation. I just wanted to consume less like unnecessary calories from junk food. At the time, I wasn't really thinking about the ingredients or how it can affect my skin, my digestion, my teeth, blah 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 blah. I just thought junk food has too much calories, and I want to like lower my calorie intake. I guess that's what a lot of people do. Like
Yeah, for sure, definitely.
they just view they just view junk food as something that has like too much calorie. They don't see it. They don't know how truly harmful it is. Let me say this.
Yeah, they mostly like care about the look, like losing weight and stuff. For most people.
Mhm. Okay, yeah. So I think I kind of covered all your belief shifts so far in terms of raw meat, junk food, vegetables, blah blah blah. Okay, can you compare your health right now to how your health was when you were still eating a normal diet?
Yeah, so on the normal diet, I was basically like had low energy. I was pretty ugly and attractive. My face was bloated, and I had digestive issues. I was dealing with insulin resistance. Also had this condition called acute rhinitis, which would be basically pretty much like I would get nasal congestion at night, and I would be like hard to breathe. I would need like a spray to put it my mouth. I mean my nose to like breathe properly. I was also like dealing with mood issues, like I said, like depression, anxiety, and also another thing, which is the fact that my hormones were actually whacked. I had no morning wood anymore. That was like when I was 18, so my testosterone was really low. And now, in the current position that I am in, I pretty much have like a high energy pretty much almost all the time. I'm looking better, like my face is sharper. I'm not that bloated like I was before. Like even physique wise, I'm leaner, looking better, and my mood is better. I'm just feeling euphoric most of the time. Like pretty much, like it's hard for me to get anxiety or depression. My digestion is perfect, no bloating, no constipation, no nothing, and also my confidence is higher. My hormones are just ramping up. Like my morning mood, my morning would like came back, and also my testosterone. I just got blood work. It's like off the charts. It's really really high, and that's also like plays a role into it. Explains why I'm feeling so good. And yeah, I have no health issues at the moment. Also the rhinitis. Like I think it's still detoxing because it takes time until you solve these issues. But I don't need like I breathe pretty good now. I don't have big issues with that anymore. It resolved my issues, and also with the insulin resistance, my also tested my insulin like it's now proper. It's not like off the charts or anything.
Sounds great. So most people think you are going to poop out parasites or have crazy diarrhea if you eat a raw meat diet, but you are saying that your digestion actually improved. So what do you think is going on here?
Yeah, so the thing with diarrhea, it's true that it can happen at the beginning. I also had diarrhea when I started this diet for like a month, yeah, kind of a month, and also on the carnivore diet at first. So diarrhea you can get it not because you get parasites or whatever. That's also like diarrhea is basically you get it because you are detoxing. When you start eating this way, you will turn like into detox mode. You will start healing yourself because first off you get nutritious foods like we spoke earlier. Raw foods are the most nutritious basically since you don't cook them anymore, and meat is the most bioavailable source, especially the organs. They have a lot of nutrients. So first off, you get like complete nutrition, and second off, you stop consuming poisons. You stop putting toxins in your body. If you go like on a raw animal-based diet like this, you stop consuming junk food, plants from like with anti-nutrients and so on, like other bullshit, and then of course your body will start detoxing because it's not gonna detox proper like that deep healing. I mean, if you're constantly bombarding your body with toxins, and also not consuming nutrients, it's not gonna have resources to detox, and also it's not in a good environment per se. for in order to heal. So that's when you start eating this way. You're gonna detox. You're gonna experience like a bit of detox symptoms too, which are not side effects. Many people will think they're side effects. Like they're not even that bad. Like for some people, they're not even present. But depends. Like I said, with the diarrhea, it's basically also a detox symptom because diarrhea is like when your body just expels toxins through the stool because it's like a fast way to do so. Either that or a tension effect because you're not maybe used to consuming to digesting raw fats yet. So that's gonna happen at the beginning. It's pretty common for most people. Some people don't get it, but it's gonna pass away anyways. Like it's just temporary, and it pretty much happens. Can happen like at when you start like any other diet, even like a vegan diet or like other stuff like carnivore, like we said. So it's not because of the parasites, although the parasites most people don't know this, but actually it's not that they're bad, like they're eating good tissue, they are helping you detox, they are feeding on decaying tissue. We have studies that show parasites are help you get rid of autoimmune diseases such as type 1 diabetes, allergies, Crohn's disease. So it's many, even like some medical textbooks say that parasites eat like decaying tissue, like rotting proteins or altered fats or so on. And yeah, it makes sense because we don't get sick. No, I haven't seen like cases of people like getting parasites on like this raw meat space, like primal space, and then getting sick and quitting the diet. I haven't heard like any case so far like that's a truthful, proven case. So yeah, that's pretty much my take on it. You're gonna experience some detox symptoms with the diarrhea, but it's not like because you're getting sick or anything like that.
Do you think you'll ever get parasites on your body by eating your raw meat diet?
Well, the thing is, you can get like parasites. It can happen, but most of them would be asymptomatic. As for example, yeah, you can get like tested and you get your blood work like, and these tools. But the thing is, your parasites, like I spoke earlier, they are feeding on decaying tissue, so they can appear in your body. They can eat what is needed, and then they can live. They can just live like that without causing harm. If you're not toxic, if you have too many toxins in your body, then yeah, you can have like more detox symptoms. And now coming back to what I said like earlier, like a few minutes ago, with the parasites that they like the studies are association. That's why it's associated because parasites help you detox. They feed on decaying tissue, and when you detox, you're gonna have like some symptoms because toxins are leaving out of your body, and that's why it's the association. And the thing is, with parasites here, what I wanted to say is the fact that well, let me just remember what I wanted to say with the parasites. I wanted to add something. But I forgot. I guess the parasites ate my brain now. Speaking about this, I just wanted to say something, but I forgot.
I guess you're trying to say parasites are not bad.
Yeah, this one, but I wanted to mention something specific.
Mm-hmm. Do you want me to just move on?
Wait, give me 30 seconds, wait.
Okay,
30 seconds
yeah,
more. So.
sounds good.
Hmm.
Yeah, so I was asking you, like, do you think you'll get parasites on a raw meat diet?
Oh wait, yeah, I remember. So what I wanted to add was that the fact that all the wild animals they have parasites like in them naturally. So why would they have it? Why do they have it? Like if it's bad. Also, we have some parasites naturally inside of us that don't cause harm. So it's not that all parasites like cause harm like that. It's basically exaggerated. That was the point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess I had heard ChatGPT said that if you remove the parasites in a wild animal, they are actually going to be worse off. Did you see any improvements in your teeth after you went on your meat-based diet?
Well, I would say that I stopped getting cavities because I used to get cavities back then when I was eating even a balanced diet, like without the junk food. I would eat it occasionally, and I would have like lots of cavities. Literally, I spent I think almost 1,000 euros on fixing my teeth because I had so many problems before. Like I would have literally a hole in my teeth, a cavity where you would see the gums literally on a teeth. I had to get like some fillings there. Fortunately, it wasn't mercury fillings to get heavy metal poisoning constantly, but yeah, I had problems before, and now I'm not getting cavities anymore. Just some tartar here and there, which can happen because you're detoxing, like toxins are coming out of your brain, and yeah, but they just go away. Like, but other than that, I want to mention that my teeth are cleaner now, even though I don't wash them. Sometimes, I mean, I don't brush them. They still like pretty clean compared to before. They would get like more yellow. That's what also one thing I noticed.
Nice. Are you saying that you don't brush your teeth at all now?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying when I had like periods without brushing my teeth longer, but I use baking soda. Although I don't brush it maybe every day or so. Sometimes I just don't, maybe forget, and it doesn't cause like that much of a difference. But I usually do like with baking soda, maybe sometimes every other day or so.
Nice. Great, great. Okay, I'll ask you a question right here. Let's see. I guess I used to think that you need to brush your teeth every day and use mouthwash to not have teeth issues. Well, if someone believes you need to brush your teeth every day and use mouthwash, use if someone believes you need to brush your teeth every day and use mouthwash regularly to have good dental health, do you have anything to say to them?
Yeah, of course. So what I would say is the fact that usually you have to first take care of your diet because most teeth problems are coming from our diet. Of course, it's the carbohydrates and fiber. These are also like just linked to having teeth problems. Of course, like the sugar, because even though not only the processed sugar, pretty much every carbohydrate, because all carbohydrates turn into sugar and they just feed the bad bacteria like in your mouth, so you're gonna get cavities and other stuff, and also the fiber, because fiber is also basically another type of carbohydrate. So you gotta take care of your diet first, and you'll see just on yourself how your teeth will improve. Because here there are like many anecdotes, maybe not studies. We don't have studies on that because it's pretty hard like to make studies like on with the brushing teeth and here like a raw animal-based diet or a carnivore diet. But we have anecdotal experiences from people like saying they went on a even like cooked carnivore diet, but mostly also like raw, and they had like no more problems with their teeth, and also like with the brushing here, like they have like their breath or like it doesn't stink anymore, and also yeah, their teeth are just cleaner. They don't have to brush. There was like this guy that was on a carnivore diet, and he went to the dentist, and his teeth like was very like clean, like, literally white like that, no issues. And he asked the dentist, how many times, how like often do you think I'm brushing my teeth? And he said, the dentist, I think daily, once or twice per day. And he said, I haven't brushed my teeth in literally 1 year.
Who's that guy?
I'm not sure who is it. I just heard this story from this doctor Anthony
Okay,
Shaffer that promotes carnivore diet. He told me about
nice.
that. So,
Sounds great. Yeah,
I don't know
so
the name.
for me personally, I definitely notice that if I only eat meat and eggs, nothing really builds up on my teeth. But if I consume, let's say, milk, my teeth can feel a little more, mm, let me just say, dirty. Like I can feel that there are some stains. Yeah.
Mm.
So, but I definitely have, like after I went on a meat based diet, I don't really prioritize brushing my teeth. I don't think it's something I need to do every day religiously with toothpaste.
Yeah, yeah. Now,
Yeah.
another interesting thing that I want to add here, not related to brushing teeth, but I guess to hygiene in general. What I noticed when going on a raw animal-based diet like this is the fact that I don't get that much wax in my ear anymore. Because then, back then, I used to need to clean my ears like every time I would shower. They would get like yellow inside, and now oftentimes it's not even there. Like I don't have that much wax in my ear, so that's pretty interesting. And I was speaking to my girlfriend; she told me the same thing, literally.
Nice. Wow, that's really interesting. Okay, let me ask you this. Oh, wait a minute. There's a mosquito. Let me ask you this interesting question. How do you think your health would be different if you were eating a cooked meat diet now?
I mean, it would be different in a way that would not look as good as I look now. I would not have like my testosterone as high or like be as energetic, even though I was feeling like pretty good on even on cooked animal based diet. But the thing is that it's like a compounding effect because you get more nutrients, out of raw foods. Depends on also how you cook your meat. If you cook your steaks rare, of course, it won't be the end of the world, but it would just be the results compounding like that, over time. So you get more nutrients. You eat like that daily, and you just get healthier and healthier over time. And I noticed that I made like more progress when I switched to like from cooked to raw. I just started looking better immediately, like overnight, like that. After like a few days, I was already debloated, like looking better, like mogging more, to put it that way. And yeah, it was nice. Like, and yeah, I'm just getting healthier and healthier. Like, just better off. Like, the results are stacking up. So definitely, still a difference. Even though you're animal based, I would still recommend it. Going, it's 100% worth it with raw.
Nice. Interesting. Aside from your health, are there some other benefits eating a raw animal based diet?
Yeah, definitely. Like basically, I can say it just changed my life completely in every aspect. So it's not just health, it's also business first off, because when I started like eating raw meat, I had this motivation of documenting my experience, and yeah, like that on the social media to make content. And of course, this grabs a lot of attention. It gets you more views, so it makes you grow more on social media. And that also like helps with the monetization. If like getting more views, if you have like monetization from that, from the views, or also like getting clients, of course, having attention. Because I basically just became famous in my country because of that, because of I'm eating raw meat. Like everybody, almost like I guess, yeah, most people in Romania know me, that they know, oh, this guy that eats raw meat. Like even though they don't know my name or stuff, they like know about me. Like people on the street recognize me. They sometimes like a lot of people ask me like wanted to take photos with me. Like they see me on the street. Oh, they say, oh man, I know you on Instagram, on TikTok. I appreciate you a lot because I had like 22K on TikTok and my Romanian account. So that's one thing. Like in business, it's gonna make you more money basically, and also because not only because it's like grabbing attention, but also because it improves your mental performance. It makes you smarter, so you get like better ideas. I noticed that I became more creative since eating this way. So obviously that translates into business, focus, productivity, and so on. That's another thing like with the business, and also I would say in relationships too, even though at the beginning of course it's gonna go a bit downhill with your relationships if you eat this way, because people are gonna think you're weird. What the fuck are you doing? You can go out and eat with us and so on. You're gonna lose a lot of friends, but if you think about it, they're not like real friends like that. If you lose them because of that, because you are just friends, I guess, with other habits, with substances, if you're drinking alcohol and so on. So that's not really a loss, but at the beginning, yeah, it can go a bit downhill. Also, maybe your relationship with your family, because for now it kind of like became worse, I can say, with my family, the relationship, since I'm starting eating raw meat, because they think I'm weird, I'm gonna die or whatever bullshit. And yeah, that's of course sacrifice that you gotta take, if you wanna become healthier. But other than that, I would say it really helps with girls, because on this diet I became more attractive and also more confident since my testosterone went up. So there's many more girls that message me now. I'm like getting lots of DMs. Literally, I was at some point getting like one DM from like a new girl every day, like that. I just have so many options, and yeah, it's really nice because it makes you more attractive. It's pretty nice. Although, like, not everybody is gonna become model or something by eating this way. Of course not. It's gonna improve your looks and definitely gonna help in that. And yeah, those are some of the benefits. And like some girls don't even care if you're eating raw meat, like if you're attractive, whatever, confidence, whatever. Who gives a fuck? Right? They mostly just wanna also eat raw meat with you, even though they're like normies. I've seen like some girls wanna, just try to fit in their narrative like that.
Nice,
And
nice.
also, wait, one thing that I wanna more mention, I would say also like with spirituality wise, because I don't know why, but when I started eating raw meat, I became like a bit more philosophical, or like asking like more deep questions, like to myself, and like just having a more sense of belief. I don't know, like it's also another thing that I noticed. So definitely like all aspects of life, not just health.
So I personally have experienced um, the convenience benefits of eating a raw meat based diet. So can you kind of talk about the how do I phrase this question? Can you kind of talk about how convenient it is to eat a raw meat based diet?
Like convenient when it comes to what exactly, like the sustainability, like other people or
I
what?
mean, like the fact that you don't need to cook.
Oh, yeah, well, that's definitely a very convenient thing, because let me tell you something about like here where I'm staying at this Airbnb right here in South Africa, this place. They don't have like a oven or something where we stay like in the room. We can't cook, and we haven't even thought about it. Wait, we don't even have a place to cook here. We're just eating raw meat. And imagine if I would like have to like eat cooked meat and I wasn't eating raw meat, I would have to cook. Like what would I do? Like it's definitely more convenient because it also saves you time. Just buy a steak from wherever on the butcher shop, you eat it like that, and boom, you're done. Like no cooking involved, saves you a lot of time. Also, if you're busy, so also with the raw eggs, you just wake up in the morning. 30, you put like 5 eggs in the glass there, 30 seconds, boom, you got your protein, got the nutrients, you're good to go to the work or wherever. So it's definitely much more convenient.
That's a great point. That's interesting. Yeah, I guess if more people ate like this way, a lot of related industry will kind of suffer. For example, like kitchen equipments.
Yeah, of course. And especially the junk food companies, and of course everybody would suffer. That's why they just push this so hard. Oh, bacteria parasites gonna get sick, because if everybody would eat raw meat, the government would just go bankrupt. No more pharmaceuticals, no more surgeries, and all this kind of stuff for health problems. They would not make money, because I don't need medication now. I don't need anything else. Since I'm eating this way, I'm perfectly healthy. How could you sell something to me? I'm a lost client for the government. Basically, I'm not eating junk food. I'm yeah, just supporting the farmers, and that's it.
Hmm. Do you think there's any downsides to your raw meat diet?
I mean, the only downside, like I said earlier, coming back to the relationship, I would say, because some relationships will just become worse, especially with your parents. Mostly, I would say that's a downside here.
So how would you say your parents think about your diet?
Yeah, they think it's bad that I'm gonna get sick and I'm weird. They like criticize sometimes, and they complain. So that's the thing.
How do you feel about this?
I mean, at some point you just stop caring. But I mean, yeah, of course, I don't really care that much in general, like about what people say. But at some point, I mean, it becomes a bit annoying to like become yeah wherever. You just wanna kind of bit distance yourself, That's the thing, because that's maybe another reason why I came here to South Africa. I just feel
Mm,
better now. I'm like more free to be honest. But like at some point,
mm,
of course, they're
wow.
still your parents. You gotta love them, accept them. Maybe in a few years they're gonna also start eating raw meat with me. I'm gonna convince them.
Mm. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you think your parents are against you eating raw meat?
I think 8 out of 10.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Hmm. I guess my mom was like a 7 previously, and right now she's probably like a 3 to 4.
hmm Oh, interesting. So it went down.
Yeah, I guess she figured that I'm not going to change, even
hmm
if she wants to change me. So she kind of like gave up in a way.
Interesting. I see.
What are your thoughts on getting your body checked? I know you got your body checked when you are on your raw meat diet. Like, do you actually care a lot about that? Because for me personally, I kind of feel like I don't really care about what doctors say how my body is. I want to know what are your thoughts on this.
Yeah, pretty much. I would be on the same opinion to an extent, because like you don't really should care about that much. You should listen to your body, see what feedback your body gives it, and also because it gives you. I mean, because the thing is that the values that you get like in your blood don't mean that much anyways. Like even like for like testosterone, there was this thing that I don't. Wait, can you hear me now?
Yes, you can keep going.
Okay, so yeah, there was this thing that Arjun said that even like for testosterone, it doesn't show like in blood work the testosterone that you have in your body. It's just the stored. I mean, it's just the one that is circulating in the blood, so it can be like a bit irrelevant sometimes. Like some blood works, even with the cholesterol, like even other values, they're just mostly based on averages on people, like nowadays how they are. Because back then, for example, cholesterol used to be 300, like a normal value. Now it's 200. If you have like above 200, you're like considered like above the range. It's not good. So they just switch it up like based on averages. They're not like optimal ranges. They're average ranges. So I would say for me, why I took the blood work is because I'm a content creator. Yeah, I can just make it like that, interesting for people, because they ask me for blood work. I can just make content out of that, and just see out of curiosity maybe too. But like if you're not like a content creator, you shouldn't give a fuck literally about that. Only I would say maybe the ones the scans, like for example seeing how your liver is like that. That's a bit like more reliable. That can't really lie. You can get a clear picture of that. That's what I'd say. Yeah, it's pretty useful. But the blood work, depends.
Interesting answer. Yeah, I guess a lot of mainstream people will trust that a lot. So showing them your blood work is a good way to tell them that your diet works. But truthfully, I guess it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, true. At the end of the day, it matters how you feel. That's how you look.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. Because like I feel like if my doctor tells me that I have some horrible health issues right now, I'm not going to really like trust him.
Yeah, of course. Him being fat, overweight, and with dark eye circles, of course.
Okay, let me see. Yeah, we have addressed a lot of common misconceptions people will have. So, a lot of people think that raw chicken and pork are much more dangerous than raw beef. As a seasoned raw meat eater, do you have any thoughts on this?
Yeah, so what I would say here, it's true that we have to be more careful with the source when it comes to raw chicken and raw pork, and that's because most pigs and chickens are more like unhealthier nowadays since they're fed more crap. They have also like less complex digestive system compared to cows or other herbivorous animals like goats or so. Like for the cow has like a multi-chamber stomach, like literally four stomachs like that, four chambers, and of course it's gonna be more efficient. The cow is gonna be more efficient at detoxing like stored poisons compared to a chicken or a pig. So that's why you gotta be having like a good source for that. Get it from a farmer that feeds it like well, or somebody who raises animals like that, so exactly they're eating a proper diet, and in that case it's fine. There's nothing dangerous about that. Only if it's like you get it from a poor source where the pigs eat trash, of course you're gonna feel a bit bad from that, or even get sick, if they have too many toxins, if the animal is too sick.
Hmm. Yeah, this answer makes a lot of sense to me. Do you usually eat raw pork and chicken?
Well, I tried. I eat raw pork. I mean, raw chicken. I ate it a couple of times. Not too much. I don't. Can't like say I eat it on a regular basis. I just tried a couple of times, and with the raw pork, yeah, I ate it like more often actually. Sometimes I would eat even like once a week or so, like pretty consistent. I didn't notice any issues from that. Only this interesting thing. I noticed that when I ate like some pork, raw pork, my sweat will stink. Like I would sweat more, and like my sweat would be like smelling worse, like that. So that's of course from the toxins, detoxing. That's a thing that I noticed. But other than that, nothing really. I actually quite enjoy the taste of raw pork. It's like my favorite muscle meat. So too bad I still don't really eat it nowadays because of that issue. Makes my sweat stink.
That's pretty interesting. Yeah, I guess raw pork is more flavorful.
Yeah, it's like sweeter like that. It's interesting. It's also fattier. I
Nice.
guess wild boar would be the best here because wild animals are healthier. They're living naturally. Nobody is gonna nobody nobody's vaccinating them and so on.
Hmm. Have you eaten raw chicken with skin?
Yeah, I did actually. I had the video or reel
Okay,
where I
how do you
posted. I
feel
was.
about that?
I mean,
Because I
it's
guess,
good.
yeah, I guess some people think it's better to cook the skin. Do you have any thoughts on this?
Well, depends. If, like I said, if the animal is healthy, then there's nothing to worry about. You can eat the skin. You can eat, yeah, like that. And if it's unhealthy, of course, it's gonna store some toxins in the skin. Same with the pork skin, but I haven't had any issue. I just ate the skin just fine. I had like a chicken which was pasture raised. I had literally yellow fat, which was nice.
Okay, okay. Do you like to eat raw skin? Because I feel like it's a little too tough. When you cook it, it's obviously going to become like softer. How do you feel about this?
Yeah, for me, I enjoy it, especially the pork skin. I would eat it if I like it wouldn't cause me issue if it had like many toxins. I would eat pork skin because I like it, especially Romanians. We like it a lot. We eat it like it's a traditional food, pretty much. And I also noticed this thing when I eat pork skin. It makes me more debloated. Like my face is sharper for some reason. I mean, I know the reason is because of the collagen. And it makes your
Mm,
face tighter, like that, your skin tighter. So that's pretty interesting.
mm, nice.
But I don't have issues
Yeah.
like that. I can chew it like no problem. I like chewing it, even though it's sometimes a bit tougher.
Mm. Because you mentioned pork skin, I personally like cooked pork skin a lot because
Hmm.
sometimes people make like pork belly and the skin is going to become very crispy.
Hmm.
And I like that a lot. And I think it's pretty interesting because, in my opinion, when you like a food, that's a sign that it's healthy. But obviously,
Yeah,
that's cooked. So, yeah.
yeah, true.
It's kind of contradictory, right? Because it's supposed to be less healthy when it is cooked. But I kind of like that. But
Yeah,
but
it's also because of the Maillard effects.
yeah, yeah, there are some reasons. Let me see. Okay. Do you think it's hard to open up to people about the fact that you are a ramen eater?
Well, to be honest, for me, not really, but for some people, yes. Because for me, I'm just pretty much a very open and straightforward guy. I just don't care about what people think. I just always like tell what is in on my mind, pretty much. And sometimes I'm like even I'm not supposed to tell people that I'm eating raw meat, but I'm just telling like that because I can't keep my mouth shut. Like I'm a bit of an overshare. So yeah, for me, it's not really that hard.
Interesting.
But for some other
Yeah.
people, for example, of course, with women, it's gonna be a bit different. For example, my girlfriend had this issue. Like she's at college, like she's eating raw meat, like she started college, and like yeah, of course, she's eating raw meat. She doesn't want other people to find out. Like she is kind of maybe a bit worried about it and stuff. And for women, of course, it's a different issue because it's more pressure on them, and they're more
I
emotional
can
beings,
share.
of course. So it depends on what kind of person you are.
Yeah, I want to share my personal story on this because last time, um, I was meeting my girlfriend's friends, and
Hmm.
she didn't really want she didn't really want them to know I eat raw meat, so
Hmm.
I had to kind of hide. But the thing is, after they found out, because like it at the end, they still found out that I eat raw meat, and they didn't really make a big deal out of it. So
Hmm.
sometimes what I'm trying to say is sometimes people care too much about what other people think.
Yeah, true. My thumb rule here is if those people, if like you care too much about what people think, if they are not gonna come to your funeral, then you should not just care. That's what I how I put things usually.
Hmm. Wow. Nice. Nice. So after your experience of becoming healthier by eating a raw animal-based diet, do you have any advice to people?
Yeah, I would say if you want to start it, definitely start it as fast as possible, or if not, just if you're still skeptical about it, you can educate a bit more. Just watch like more podcasts like this or other videos from other creators that would explain it, or perhaps I would recommend also reading. Ajonus book. There's this guy, if you don't know, Ajonus Vonderplanitz, who wrote a book on this topic, the primal diet. I also read it. It's very nice when I was just starting out, and it's basically a nutritional researcher that wrote this book, Ajonus, and he pretty much had this diet, like he kept this diet. I mean, yeah, he was on this diet for decades, like 30 years or so, and put thousands of his clients like on the same diet. He knew exactly what would happen. Like I read his book, it literally everything he told me was true. Like with the getting more energy, looking better, like the detox symptoms and everything that he said it was true there. So you can just read his book. It's called The Recipe of Living Without Disease for the information there. And it also debunks like the parasites, the bacteria and everything. If you are skeptical about it, just read his book, be open-minded and study. You're gonna learn some interesting things there, and then just give it a try. It's gonna change your life. Because same for me, I just
Oh,
wanted to
he's
try it
done.
out of curiosity to see how it goes, and now I'm here. Basically, I'm just
Let's see
now.
what
If
he
I think about it,
says.
it's literally the best decision that I ever took in my life. Like, not even kidding. It's the number one decision. This one with the fact that I started eating raw meat. So it's definitely you never know. Maybe it can also change your life like that. I'm sure it will, though. It's definitely a lot of benefits, and I definitely recommend just trying it out at least. That's the advice I have here. Wait, can you hear me? I see you freezed. You
All
actually run
right.
out of mobile data. I had to come inside because I don't have mobile data anymore. It seems. Had to get Wi-Fi here.
Okay.
All
Yeah,
right.
I'll wrap it up soon.
Okay, so where
So
the,
you are
the question
using
with the part?
another device right now?
A what? No, I'm still on my phone, but I'm
Oh.
inside like to get Wi-Fi because I ran out of mobile data.
Ah. Okay. Okay. Cool. Let me see. Yeah. So my question was, after your experience of being able to become healthier by eating a raw animal-based diet, do you have any advice to people or any like epiphany?
Yeah, for sure. So what I would say is definitely worth trying. If you're maybe skeptical about it, this raw meat, whatever, seems bullshit. I would recommend just watching more podcasts like this, from other people, like also like other influencers where they can educate you on this. So also I recommend reading Ajonus' book. So there's this guy Ajonus Vonderplanitz that is basically a nutritional researcher and has wrote a book. He's basically been on this raw animal-based diet for decades, like literally 30 years. He studied, he did experiments. He had like clients of his, like literally thousands of people. And I read his book too, like when I was starting out, and he said some very interesting things. And also, everything, pretty much everything that he said was true there, like with the benefits like of the raw meat based diet, like you get more energy, also the detox symptoms, everything that he said there I experienced. Like even before, like I first off started eating raw meat, and afterwards I read his book, and he already told me like some things that already happened, so he was right in that, and I knew he was not speaking bullshit. And also he debunks there with the parasites, bacteria, so I would definitely recommend you just to be open minded and at least read his book and try it out to see, because it's definitely gonna change your life. Like for it was for me, I just tried out of curiosity, and now everything just improved in my life. I'm much better positioned than if I would be, maybe I don't know, another diet and so on. Because this is a natural diet, of course, helps with everything in life. So I definitely just recommend being open minded and trying it out at least, because definitely worth it.
Nice, nice. I like this message. I think um, it's a inviting message. Nice. So I want to know more about your general dietary philosophy now as a ramen eater. So can you just kind of talk about what do you try to eat and what do you try to avoid? You can be pretty specific, like in terms of like meat quality and stuff.
Yeah, okay. So basically, what I try to eat is, of course, like first of muscle meat. I eat, I think, almost 1 kilogram per day. Depends. Sometimes I would eat even more. And yeah, of course, try to get the best quality as possible. I know I look for grass-fed cows, grass finished, ideally too, non-vaccinated, and I usually get it from butcher shops. But here in South Africa, I also find decent quality meat at the supermarket. And also for the eggs, also same thing. I just look for good quality eggs. Usually, if you get them from the supermarket, you also have a grade. They have like a code there, like grade 1, 0, whatever. I look usually for code 1, like grade 1. It's not from the farmer's market. That's what I used to do in Romania. I would get it from there because they're better quality. Same for the milk. I get it from a farm. And yeah, the fruits usually I try to look for like more organic fruit of so if I can find it. No, none. Like without pesticides, and the honey to like raw honey specifically. And that's pretty much what I eat. And what I don't eat is, of course, like vegetables, junk food, rice, like starch, all this kind of stuff. I never really eat it. Like I'm pretty strict with the diet. I don't like cheating. I just don't like enjoying those foods. Maybe like only like sometimes, let's say, it happened like a few months ago. I wanted to try out something like out of curiosity. Like I ate some bread. I wanted to see how it feels like to eat bread with like raw meat, like a raw meat sandwich, just for fun like that. And whatever, nothing happened. Like from that is not the end of the world. But other than that, I don't cheat. Like I don't yeah, have cheat meals and so on, because I don't like them. I don't eat junk food. I haven't eaten junk food like sugar or stuff like that in literally 2 years.
Nice, awesome. So as someone who hasn't eaten junk food for 2 years, do you have any advice for people that want to quit eating junk food?
Yeah, so first off, just start eating a natural diet as the first step. I mean, yeah, try to eat more fats, like and nutritious foods, because that's gonna solve the cravings most likely for most people. You're gonna solve the cravings. That's how it was for me, at least when I went literally on a cooked carnivore diet. That's when it stopped, literally, and also on keto, because I was consuming more fats. I was nourishing my body properly finally. And if you crave junk food and stuff like that, then it usually means two things, I would say, or perhaps three. But main thing would be that you're like, of course, addicted first off, and you just been used to eating those foods, and perhaps can also happen like the cravings from the blood sugar spikes, because I noticed when I was eating carbohydrates while I was on a regular diet, I would have cravings because I would get like this blood sugar spike, and then when it went down I was craving like sugar again. Like, that's what happens like from the blood sugar spike. So of course, if you're gonna cut out carbs for a while, eat like only fats, you're gonna not have this issue anymore. Your cravings most likely gonna disappear. That's how it was for me. And also just, yeah, because you crave junk food because you have lack of nutrients, because you're not eating nutritious foods, of course, because your body has, is not having like good nutrition, proper nutrition. Of course, it's gonna crave other things, so that's why I have cravings. So yeah, basically what I would recommend, just go on a natural diet. And there's another cool exercise you can make about this, which is interesting besides the diet, is to just take your favorite piece of junk food, or like favorite food, or favorite piece of sweets, whatever, and you put it on your desk, literally in front of you, like where in your room, like that. And the goal of this challenge is to just let it stay there as long as possible. So you put it there, and the goal is to just resist from eating it. You put it like in front of you. So this way you can also train your willpower, so you can be prepared in case maybe you're put in a situation where you have to rely on it. Like it sometimes happens. When you're going out and like people pressure you and so on, you have to be strong, to face the challenges there. So you put it there in front of you, and maybe at the beginning it's gonna last only like a few hours. You're gonna let me just eat it. Then the next time you put it again, and it's gonna last maybe one day and so on. You work on it until it lasts there forever, literally 4 months. It says on your desk, so that's what you can also try.
Nice, nice. Yeah, I have heard of this exercise. It feels pretty, I guess, fun. I haven't really tried it, but I guess it's a nice way to challenge yourself.
Yeah, for me, I kind of do it
Yeah,
manually because I was doing like, for example, side quests. I had to give like candy to some people, and I would just keep it in my backpack. Sometimes, like in my room, there it was sitting there, and I was like, I was even eating it. Like it doesn't even mean anything to me, didn't even bother me.
mm-hmm.
Or sometimes, like I would just
Yeah,
buy it for some videos to like make a video like against it.
yeah. I think eating a lot of delicious meat is definitely a pretty important thing you can do because when I was still eating lean meat and vegetables and rice, my diet wasn't delicious whatsoever. So I always wanted to eat junk food. I wasn't
Hmm.
being satisfied by my main diet. But right now, I just eat a lot of delicious steak. I also eat kimchi. I eat the whole foods I like, and it's pretty effortless to not eat junk food.
Yeah, of course, yeah, true.
I
You gotta
still
also make it enjoyable.
a few days ago I saw some chocolate in my house and I got some craving. But to go from that to actually eating that, for me, right now, it's pretty hard. Like I'm not really going to crave it this much, unless I just
I
want to
see.
eat it.
Yeah, true,
Mhm.
true.
What do you think about eating junk food on, let's say, your raw meat diet?
Well, of course, something bad not only I wouldn't recommend it because it's pretty much even if like on a raw animal based diet, health doesn't just come from what you're eating, it also comes from what you don't eat. Because even though you would be like on a raw animal based diet or eat like raw meat here and there, if you have like a regular diet, eat junk food, then it's not gonna make the biggest difference, since you're still putting poison in your body, but it's still gonna be, I guess, step forward. But still, would rather just cut it out like that completely, and yeah, so it can be as healthy as possible. That's your goal. If you want to
Hmm.
die in
Hmm.
your 30s, then yeah, just go eat junk food every day at every meal.
Okay, just to make sure you are leaving soon, right? Right.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much.
Okay, good, good, good. Okay, let me wrap this up. Let me see. I prepared
Hmm.
some interesting questions.
Okay.
What do you think is the hardest thing about being an unemployed guy trying to make money on his own?
Hmm. Let me think. Unemployed. Well, I guess it's also if you don't have like money yet and you want to start a business like that and not work a job, it would be, I guess, pressuring from your parents because they, oh, why don't you get a job, whatever, and they just force you to do the stuff. And I guess, yeah, I guess that's pretty much the main issue. But other than that, life is pretty good. I don't have to wake up with an alarm and stuff like that. It's good being the unemployed final boss.
I guess the main challenge is being judged by other people. Sounds like.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Okay. Have you worked a 9 to 5?
Not really, never. Only like some
Ooh.
small like side quests. I can't call them jobs, like they were not 9 to 5s, but never 9 to 5, never in my life.
Wow. A
And hopefully, I will
wise
never
young
will.
man right
I
here.
will become. I will remain the unemployed final boss forever. I will. I want to. I want to be on my deathbed and be proud that I never got a job in my life.
Okay, let me ask you this. Do you have any tips for people in terms of how to be confident while being unemployed? I feel like I struggle with this problem.
Hmm. Interesting, because like for me, it just comes naturally, like this confidence. Like I'm pretty optimistic, but
Maybe
to
eat
think
more
about
raw
like
meat.
yeah, to think like about some advice here. I guess you also like have to like have a solid plan in like yeah, solid plan like in mind, so you know exactly what you're heading, like a goal. So I have this purpose, I gotta go there. So this gives you like confidence, just yeah, by having like a solid plan in place. That's pretty much what I say. Because if you know what you're gonna do, and you believe in yourself like that, you just yeah, have something solid, and you gotta believe that you work out, and yeah, just work on it, take action, and you see results. Like after you work, like small results, like that compounding is gonna, at some point, you're gonna build like more confidence.
Hmm.
Just also develop your skills, your skill sets.
Sounds good. How do you feel about the fact that we need money to survive nowadays?
Well, it's pretty fucked up in a way because we're literally like kind of slaves. You have to work like for a paycheck, and most people just work 9 to 5 like that. You for like some payment that is not even that much. It just feels like slavery. And yeah, it's obviously gonna be much better if it was all everything like that free, like it was back then. Like let's say in modern, I mean, natural times, caveman times, whatever. But at the same time, if you think about it, also maybe the world will collapse in a way if that would happen. Like everything would be free and stuff. Like it'd be kind of a chaos, right? Since we're like so many people on the planet, like it's kind of has to be some sort of order. And another thing, it's also interesting. It's like a fun game that you have to like you're stuck here like in this matrix. How people call it, and you have to escape. You have to make money, like grind, and then you can be free. It's also like a bit interesting, like challenging, which I kind of like the aspect of that.
Nice. Uh, what I have to say about this is that I think this kind of system can be nice when it comes to the fact that I guess a while ago I was eating my meal and I was like eating different kinds of meat at
Hmm.
the same time. I guess like chicken, beef, whatever, but different animals' meat. And I just felt like you are not going to have this kind of privilege, I guess, if you were like a hunter gatherer.
Yeah, that's true. Of course, I guess only if you like raise your own animals, because the thing is that it's pretty much like the best evolution of hunting, to put it that way. Like raising animals, like that's next level hunting. That's of course good, because I wouldn't. I think it would be optimal to just live off hunting like that. That would be as sustainable. Yeah, of course you can go hunting. I would, for me, the best case scenario would be the ideal case. Yeah, just have animals that you raise, so you can have like a abundance of food, like constant food supply, and you also do hunting, like you do it for fun when you feel like it, so you can also get that aspect in. That's how I see things.
Hmm. Okay. Well, let me see. Let me see. Let me see. Need to be selective of my questions. Dragos, what do you think your dream life looks like?
My dream life is not interesting, because I was talking just about yesterday with my friend about this. So the dream life, like the vision that I have in the next 5 years, let's say. So first off, my plan, I just wanna first travel the world. I wanna like travel max. I wanna see like every place, like explore Europe and
Wow.
some cool places. Just meet people, because there's so many people I need to meet like around the world, and create a community like that. Just meet and expand my tribe and do fun activities. Just to meet people and so on. And after I gather the community like this, then we can just yeah, find a place to settle down. After we gather some experience, we had fun, we can find a place, buy some land, and just start having animals, finding wives, making children, and just living happily there in nature. Like in a community, like in a, let's say, a primal village like that. Where there's like us, we are connected. And we can just live a good life without 9 to 5, just having like food and other stuff, doing cool stuff, raising our kids well, homeschooling them, and just living happy like that. I think that's pretty much like a simple life that every human would kind of, like in this way, because like, yeah, of course, like everybody pretty much wants the same thing to some degree or not, but everybody would pretty much like this life, chill, you're having like a lot of people that you trust, and having food and everything.
Mm-hmm. So it sounds like being self sufficient is a big one for you.
Yeah, of course.
Nice.
And
Okay.
also another thing would be to also like I wanna influence a lot of people, like guide them to the right direction, help them like become healthier, help as many people as possible. That's also an aspect on it that's just gonna help with the goal, of course, with the income.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Do you have any advice for people who don't like their jobs?
Yeah, I would say just start doing something else. Think about what your purpose is, what you could do in order to make money, because purpose comes first before money. I thought about this, for example, yeah, here with what I do here, that I help people with nutrition, health in general. This is basically something I would do even if money didn't exist. I would still like to make content because I enjoy it. It's something fun for me. It feels like this is my purpose. Helping people like that is purposeful, and yeah, you can think about that thing. Of course, you can't quit your job like that if you don't like it and don't have money. No, but not everybody has this circumstance maybe. So just try to build something on the side like that, even though it's gonna be harder. Like if you work, you have to maybe wake up earlier and be more productive, so you can work before that and have like less hours of work, but you can still make it. There's still many people that made it. No need like endless time. You can find solutions. So that's what I would recommend. Just try to build something that you like. Don't find excuses, find solutions, and it's gonna work out if you just be patient and continue learning and improving and never give up.
Ooh, our boy just dropped some value bomb. Nice.
Yes, of course.
Okay, okay. Let me just, I guess, two more questions. Does that sound good?
Okay, yeah, sure, no worries.
Have you learned any valuable experience ever since you moved to Africa recently?
Like yeah, available experience, I would say. It's pretty interesting because yeah, I came here and I just basically, I don't know if I told you before, but I came here like I just bought a one-way ticket. I didn't buy a return ticket, so I just came here to see how much I'm gonna stay, and I basically just came with money only for 1 month. So I had like €1,000 in total. I paid for the ticket like 400, then I had like for Airbnb for a month and food for a month, and then I'm basically just forced to figure it out now because rent is due and I don't really have that much money left. I have to make more. So we're gonna see what happens. If not, I'm gonna be on the streets homeless here in South Africa. So that's I put myself in this risk, like this risky situation, calculated risk, because I also knew if I'm gonna come here, I'm gonna get together with this girl that I was speaking with, because that was like, I guess, the main thing that drove me to come here in the first place, and also because I wanted to be in a sunny place. But I knew that I'm gonna get together with her, and then I will have motivation to make it. Because if I would get together with her in a relationship, I would want to leave maybe soon. And yeah, that's what the initial thing was. But now it kind of switched because I was also like thinking lately. I also kind of switched what I did with like my business approach, because I said I'm gonna make like money maybe from the health coaching, continue with this, but I got another idea to just get into sales, like doing appointment setting and other stuff, because it would be much better like with the revenue and stuff, so I can have at least like a flowing income source, because I need money fast, and then just post content, focus on building myself without monetizing for now. Maybe just do that switch. And yeah, it went really well, because I made this decision. The decision I was thinking about it like the past couple of days, and literally thought about that because I already have experience in sales. Like I know some stuff. I took some courses in the past, and I decided to start that. I had another client, another guy that I knew, he did the same thing, so he could give me some advice on that, on what I started doing. And literally in 2 days, I found a client that will basically would pay me if I get him sales between $2,000 to $4,000 per month, just for like a few hours of work, like sending some DMs. So it was a pretty good stuff, because here I got this pressure. Oh, I'm just thinking every day, like, how do I make money? How can I make it so I can make sure I'm staying here? Like, I don't go back or something, because I have this pressure on me, and made me think, and just came to this conclusion. And yeah, it's pretty good. Like, in terms of valuable experience, that's what I went through so far. And now I kind of like switch priorities, because I went to see this girl here, and I thought I'm gonna stay longer here. But now I kind of excited about this because I'm gonna make money. I wanna just travel, go to other places. So it kind of like changed me. It went like something unexpected here that I actually am pretty happy about how things turned.
Nice. That's pretty interesting. How do you think you will raise your children?
Interesting question. Yeah, it's very important how you go about this. So of course I'm gonna feed them good food. First off, another thing is that I'll have them be breastfed more longer, because most moms just breastfeed maybe like 2 years maximum. Some even like not at all in worst cases, which is kind of fucked up. But yeah, actually you can breastfeed like children even longer, for like 5 years or 6 years or so, because usually that's a problem. Most moms don't breastfeed like their children enough, because they don't have enough milk, like because they have like a standard diet. They're not as healthy. So you can also breastfeed them longer, so they can get more nutrients and like get breastfeed. They get like a breast milk like that longer, and that's another thing. Then put them on a raw animal based diet from the start, so they can just develop properly, be healthy, get nutrients and be happy. And of course, homeschool them so they don't have to go to school and learn bullshit and hate school and just be depressed and stressed. And I can just teach them like everything that I consider that it would be useful for them, not what other people, consider. And yeah, of course, just have them like put them also into challenges so they can, grow for that. For example, if there would be boys, of course, that would be the case. I can just do some, how do you say it, like try like a rites of passage. I guess that's how you call them. So I can just send them in the forest like for 3 days. Like I also did like the challenge with sleeping in the forest for 7 days. I can just go like let them do like some hard things too, so they can grow from that. Gain experience, because those are also valuable. They gotta learn from something, not just to stay at home like have only comfort. So that's how we go about raising them, and of course, just providing. Having. I don't think I'm gonna put my goal. I think I'm gonna put the goal to just make so much money so I can have it saved up and have like generational wealth, so they don't have to go to this bullshit, 9 to 5 and all this kind of stuff.
Wow. Let him cook. W.
Yeah,
Have you thought about this question a lot before?
yeah. I guess I had like the idea in my mind, with how I'm gonna raise kids. It's pretty solid to me.
Sounds
I
great.
know how I'm gonna go about it. Although of course I'll see when it's gonna be the case too, because maybe I don't think it's gonna be so easy or whatever. But I'm gonna see exactly when it comes to that, because maybe it's not the easiest thing to be a parent. So I'll have to see them what I'll face.
Yeah. That's a good point. I have heard people say that it's a good idea not to teach them how to speak or something when they're little. I kind of forgot,
Really?
but there is some weird thing about you don't want to like shape your children. You want to let them naturally just develop, I guess, manifest.
Yeah, another thing that I want to add here, it's also you gotta go about it so you don't cause them trauma, like just beat them up or something, or like shout at them too much, like most parents do when we're growing up, because this reflects like this just makes our mental health like very bad. Even for the most people, I think nowadays they're just have childhood trauma, like most people would have that anxiety or stuff. I also used to deal with anxiety because of that, because of things that happened like growing up, and that's another important thing. You gotta give them like proper love so they end up being
Wow,
mentally sane.
nice message. This is also related to diet, because if the parents are on a good diet, they're probably not going to be all that moody.
Yeah, true, of course, because you also got. I can understand them though, because they're like most people parents are like stressed. They have their cortisol elevated because they're working and they're always busy, and they're also eating like a trash diet, which makes it even worse. So their emotional state is worse. Of course, I understand. Maybe they don't intend to do that. They want the best for the child, but it just happens like that.
Nice. Our boy is very understanding. Okay, so Dragos, that's it for the interview. So thank you a lot for taking the time to do this with me.
Yeah, we got a lot of value here. We gave a lot of value bombs in this interview. Not gonna lie.
Nice. Yeah, hopefully this conversation was able to help out some. Yeah, I would like to help out more people that are still not all that familiar with this diet. So I'm definitely going to create some highlights around that. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
perfect. Yeah.
whoever that's listening, hope you found value from our boy Drago. I think he's pretty motivating. W. Yeah, and stay tuned. I'll keep pumping out interviews. And yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. I'll try to work on myself to become a better host. All right.
All
So
right. Peace,
peace out,
guys.
guys.
Wish you all the best.
Bye bye.